to the Emo Hour, your weekly power hour of all things emo and adjacent, with your hosts, Katie and Nani.
Hello and welcome to the Emo Hour. This is your host, Nani, with my good friend, Katie.
Hi.
Hi. How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was good. It was pretty quiet. I was going to, before we got into it, I was going to say I just came straight from hockey, so I'm sweaty and stinky, and I apologize, but we're recording in person together.
I know, it's so exciting. It's been so long. It's almost weird looking at you in person.
Instead of through the screen.
I know. Yeah, it's so true. And I guess this episode is coming out on New Year's Day. And so we probably, in reality, the day that this is coming out, will probably be very hungover. And neither of us are hungover at all today, which is so exciting because it is the season of drinking.
It is the season of drinking, which reminds me, I think I might try to do dry January this year because it's been a heavy time. I'm just very busy at work. So.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah. Well,
we
should.
We haven't talked about this at all, but yeah.
Maybe we should.
I mean, unless I'm doing some travel, in which if I'm traveling, then I will be having.
And it doesn't count.
That it does not count.
There you go.
At
Perfect. But my Christmas was pretty good. We were with some family up in North Idaho at Priest Lake, and it was pretty place. It did rain a lot, which is a bummer. Something very exciting is my sister-in-law got me an Elder Emo blanket.
Oh my God, that's right.
Christmas.
You showed it to me. It's pretty epic.
Yes. So it says Elder Emo. It's got like a skull, rock fingers going on. It says it wasn't a phase. It says I'm okay. It's got skull and crossbones.
It's all black and white, right?
All black and white. It says respect your Elder Emo. It's got like checkers and it's got like a broken heart with a Band-Aid over it. I was so excited.
That's such a gift.
It's such a gift.
What was your response? Like, what was your reaction?
I loved it. I just laughed and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And my dad asked if it was custom. She said, no, she just found it, I think, on Amazon. She did say if you search emo on Amazon, some weird stuff comes up.
Not surprising.
It's like, I bet. But that was very nice.
And I also wonder, is it weird to her or is it actually weird?
Probably a mix of both.
Yeah.
Probably a mix of both.
Like might be something that we totally know, like what it is, but it would be very weird to like the non-emoer.
Right, exactly. How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was a very simple Christmas this year, which was really nice. We didn't do any gifts. We just spent time with people that we love, and the one tradition that I always have is going to the ice show out at Sun Valley. And so we went and did the ice show and saw the ice skaters, which you know how much I love an ice skater.
Yep.
And the one woman who does the fire routine, she did, and it was just,
you love her.
She was so good.
Yeah.
And she made a big fire circle and was doing spins in the middle of it with it felt like we were at Burning Man on ice practice.
Sweet.
I know. And I've never been to Burning Man, but it's what I imagine Burning Man to be, but on ice. But I
think it's probably not at all the same.
Yeah, you're probably right.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, you're probably right. But no, it was a really nice Christmas. Yeah, and I don't know. I think kind of gone are the days, probably because I don't have kids, and so you're probably in a different spot. But I think gone are the days of like mass consumption consumerism for me. Because
which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the and you know, it's part of I guess what's making me emo, and I'll go into that later, but you know, one of the things that has been such a gift is going through a bunch of stuff with my dad of just like family mementos and that type of stuff. And so going through like when you go through all the things that you have in a house.
Right.
Nothing like that to remind you how much stuff we have.
Yes.
Like so much stuff.
Absolutely.
And when you see how much stuff you have, the last thing you want is more stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where my brain's at, which is kind of weird because normally I'm like presents and, you know, whatever, but not this year. It's actually been really nice.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that transitioned somewhat nicely into what's making me emo this week.
Ooh, tell.
Which is just kind of It is a pretty emo today, I would say. It's just that this time of year, I feel like there's a lot of emotions going on,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's a lot of people struggle for many different reasons, and part of that is like Christmas and dealing with family that maybe you don't want to deal with or whatever, just family dynamics that don't really work that well, or it's like the end of the year and you're just kind of like reflecting and having maybe a hard time on that and just like looking back, or it's looking at New Year's resolutions and like trying to improve. And I think it's great to make goals and resolutions, but I guess what's making me emo is that I just think people can be really hard on themselves this time of year. And I just want to say, take it easy on yourself. Like, we're all doing the best we can.
Absolutely. I think
And
that's a really great message.
yeah, we're doing the best we can with what we have. And, that's it. And I think that I think there's just so much going on this time of year. And probably a lot of it is that there's parties and there's drinking and there's, just like there's a lot. There's just a lot. Everybody's busy. There's a lot of spending money. Like, there's just so much going on.
Pressures are everywhere.
Yeah, pressures are everywhere. I think people feel pressure to make Christmas amazing and fantastic and like this huge production, and it's just like none of that has to be the case.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's kind of just the thing of always like looking for the next thing instead of like enjoying what you're in. And I think it's important to just enjoy what you're in and not be too hard on yourself and just try to like appreciate the good that you have right now.
Yeah.
So
I
that's what's making me emo.
You just kind of made me emo as we're talking about it because I'm going to tell you what's making me emo, but I so agree with that sentiment. And I think that for maybe the first time in a little while, I've realized that there are so many people that force themselves through the holidays and they force themselves to be happy.
Right.
And they just like do their best to put on a good face for the family or a good face for whatever. And I think that there's a lot more people who are sad this time of year
Yeah.
than are willing to admit.
Totally.
And
I mean, like truly, I think statistics show, and I guess I don't know this for a fact, but I think statistics show this time of year is like higher crime rates, like higher
depression,
higher anxiety, like more mental health
Yeah.
Needs, and
it's dark.
more
It's
like
the darkest days of the year.
more like
Literally.
self-harm and stuff too. I mean, like it's a tough time of year for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I feel like I've heard and or seen those statistics as well, and that's why like what made me so happy is just kind of this simplified version of Christmas for
Right.
us this year. So it was simpler the better for me this year, and it's probably because I've been going through all of this family memorabilia, which is what is making me emo this week.
Perfect transition.
Well, because all I want to do is talk about it. So my dad is downsizing. It's very exciting. Again, back to the mass quantities of stuff. Nobody needs it. It's just crazy. But it's been really fun. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a great kind of thing to do with my dad, and it's been cathartic. But one of the boxes that I opened up, and I sent you some of these
You
photos.
did.
Oh my gosh. There's a whole box of Warped Tour, bank clothing,
Love that.
memorabilia for me. So I came across, so we were in multiple People magazines.
Sweet.
And so there's a picture of Miley Cyrus, like front and center, and like what they had this thing. It used to be called Star Tracks. It's like
Okay.
stars, they're just like us.
Okay.
And she was riding a roller coaster, and Miley Cyrus had our hoodie on, and it just so prominently featured bank.
Love
Like
it.
you could see it better than anything else in the photo. It was just crazy. So there was that. There was another People magazine where somebody else was featured in bank. There was an AP magazine, or like I think there was maybe 5 different AP magazines that told the story of the bank robbery. So we've not talked about this here. I've told some other people about it recently, actually. It was kind of a fun exercise. But one of the things that we did for bank clothing is we would spend a lot of money doing print advertising. And what we would do, because this was prior to like Instagram, prior to a lot of social media. We had MySpace, we had Facebook and stuff, but it's not the same as Instagram or TikTok or any of that. And so in these print ads, the way we would do it is we would tell a story from magazine to magazine. And so it told the story of a bank robbery. So it started off with like Bonnie and Clyde-esque robbery,
Cool.
and then it went to the actual robbery, and then them getting caught in the end, and they were wearing different pieces of bank clothing along the way. And so
That's awesome.
like seeing the tangible magazines that everything was printed in was so cool. And then there was a 2008 Warped program that I don't even know how I have this. Oh my gosh, and now I'm remembering that I have my journal that we haven't read any entries from.
No, I remembered that the other day too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So that's what's making me emo this week is kind of a trip down memory lane, and beyond the specific like Warp Tour bank clothing stuff, just going through all the family memorabilia it's been very emotional.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of that is. And I think you sent me a picture of the 2008 Warp Tour thing, and I was like, I would never keep something like that. But I wish I would have. Well, and it was such a bigger part of your life, so it makes sense that you did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, I didn't know I had it.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that was really weird for me is that, yeah. And then the cover of that People magazine to put it in the world,
Context.
it was like when Britney Spears was having like her melt, like, well,
Oh,
I guess she had a
geez.
few different ones, but
Yeah.
she was the cover and it was like, I'm telling my story type thing.
Oh,
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
what a time.
What a
time to be
time.
alive.
I know, the umbrella incident.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think, to surmise it all, just the holidays and going through all that, it's made me very emo, but it was really fun to come across the Warp Tour stuff because we have so many things to talk about
Yeah.
as it relates to Warp Tour
Which,
in this episode, which we could talk about now, or
let's
we could
just
talk
get
about the
into
other
it.
ones if you
Let's
want.
just get into it.
I think we should.
Yeah. So, I mean, Warp Tour, I feel like has been very active on social media, Instagram and TikTok, and there's been lots of what I would call teasers. I mean, who knows? Like, I would say that they're saying it's not band announcements, right?
No, but they're pretty dang close.
I would say, yeah, like I see some stuff and I'm like, they're going to be there. Like at one of the dates at least, which is the question, right? Like who knows if it's
Right.
going to be, I'm sure there's going to be overlap between some of them, but it's 3 different locations, 2 days at each location. There's a lot of bands.
Yeah.
So I would say probably everything that we're thinking are teasers are definitely teasers.
I would so agree. And the thing that's cool that we've talked about on here before is that Kevin Lyman and the entire Warped Tour team, they're really wanting to make sure that they are highlighting newer artists and not
Mhm.
just legacy artists. And so one of the ones that I was so excited about that I didn't even know who this girl was, but our friend Banks, who we are going to have on this podcast soon, I hope, because he's one just the definition of an elder emo and such an amazing human, but he's also a professional athlete and just so interesting. So we need him to tell his story on this podcast. But he introduced us to this girl, Noelle Sucks.
Mhm.
And a couple days ago, I can't remember, there was a teaser that was posted on the Warp Tour Instagram that pretty much was like, are you going to Warp Tour? It's like, don't worry, we're already on it. And it's Noelle Sucks.
Yeah.
Like she falls in the bathroom and gets up and is like, hey, I'm here. So like she definitely, there's no way she's not going to perform.
Right. Yeah, and Banks sent us a song from Noelle Sucks, and I listened to it and I liked it, but I was like, this is definitely Donnie's vibe more than mine.
For sure.
And you were like, yep, sure is.
Yeah, I love it. She's really good.
Yeah, she is good. And she's a newer artist,
Mhm.
so that's great. I know a couple weeks ago, Warp Tour posted on their stories like a song questionnaire or whatever, and they were like survey poll. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
No, like a poll and a survey, all
Yeah.
those things. Yeah.
They
It's
were
also a
basically-
questionnaire.
Yeah.
All of your words were the right
All of
decision.
those things. Where they basically was like, guess this artist, and they play a song, and then you could like write in and guess it. And so I screenshotted it was 5 different songs that they played, and I was like, I think that this means that these bands are going to be on Warped Tour. So the ones that I screenshotted, I also thought it was interesting that they played a bit deeper cuts for these bands.
Ooh,
Um,
I'm not mad at that.
yeah, because some of them I was like, okay, I know. I mean, I know this voice, but I don't necessarily know which song this is. Um, so on their stories, they teased the band Neck Deep.
Oh yeah.
They played the song December, which is a great song. That's like kind of Christmassy. I was listening to it quite a bit. It's on our Emo Hour Christmas playlist.
Oh my God. Also, how many did you play the Christmas playlist?
Oh, I did. Yes, I did. When everybody came over to our cabin, I played it for a couple hours and nobody really said anything,
Hell yes.
good or bad. Just nobody said anything about it. So,
They know you. They know you.
so it was fine. I enjoyed it.
Did you wrap yourself up in your new blanket and listen to Punk Rock Christmas?
Not at the same time, but I did those at 2 separate times.
Okay, I love it. Okay, sorry. The other spoilers. So Neck Deep.
The next teaser was Fallout Boy, and the song that they played was "I've Got a Dark Alley and a Bad Idea that says you should shut your mouth."
Oh my God. Those Fall Out Boy lyrics, man. Or
Yeah,
the song titles.
Great song title. The Offspring, they played "Want You Bad," "Escape the Fate," "Not Good Enough for Truth and Cliche," which I never really listened to.
Escape the Fate.
I
I feel like they were another Las Vegas band. I can't remember.
I don't know. And then the last one was Good Charlotte, and they played The River. So, like, those are some, like, The Offspring, Fall Out Boy, Good
Those
Charlotte.
all
Those are some big
sound,
ones.
yeah, those all sound like people that would play it too. Because
Yeah.
I feel like the relationship that Kevin has with so many of these bands because of his legacy,
Yeah.
it like all of those make so much sense for them to play.
Right.
I can't remember if we talked about it on this on the podcast or on the radio show, but Melrose Avenue, that band from Australia that they also did a video on.
Yes.
Did we talk about? I can't
I
remember.
don't think we did.
But I'm obsessed with the lead singer. He's so cute. His name is Vlado.
Okay.
I think it's Vlado. Hold on.
Interesting.
I'm looking really quickly because, yeah, his name is Vlado Sarek. Vlado. That's how you would pronounce it, right? Vlado.
Sure. Yeah.
But they're an Australian band. And I remember during COVID, he really had this rise to fame, if you will, on social media. And it's mostly because he's fully tatted up and like, yeah, I don't know,
Attractive.
18-year-old me is in love.
Yeah.
And he just has the look.
Yeah.
And so he has a great voice. He did mostly covers, but now he's doing originals with his band called Melrose Avenue. And they're in the video with Kevin in the spoil. So of course they're playing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be good. What other spoilers did you see with Warped, or was that the majority of it?
That was the majority of what I wanted to talk about, but I know you had a couple others.
I do.
And like I said at the beginning of this, there's been several. I just don't
So
want to talk
many.
about every single one.
Yeah, because there's way too many, which is awesome because we also know that they are going to be actually releasing the lineup in January.
Right.
Is what we found out. Which is super exciting because look, I'm done with the spoilers. Just tell me what's happening
Yeah.
because I want to know what's happening.
January soon. I
I
don't
know.
think they've said when in January.
Yeah.
I think it just January.
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing as well. And so no, the only other one that they posted that was kind of fun is Seosin or Seoshin, however you want to pronounce it. But two of the members from the band were in there talking about their writer. And do you know what a writer is, by the way?
I do. Yes. RIDER, we
Yeah.
should say.
Yeah, writer.
But yeah, you should explain it to
Yeah,
the listeners.
it's actually kind of interesting because some people don't realize that the way that writers work, it's different in different scenarios, and so sometimes the artist is paying for it, sometimes the artist isn't paying for it. So like an artist when they play at a venue or wherever, a writer is essentially a request for items in their dressing room
Right.
or on their tour bus or kind of whatever. And they can be extravagant. I feel like, there's these urban myths of people saying, I only want brown M&Ms or
Yeah.
I need, whatever. So whatever's ridiculous. Or it might be, can I have a turkey sandwich,
Right.
and a bottle of water.
Yeah.
So they can be really normal or really not normal. I've seen some crazy, crazy writers.
I'm sure.
Drake being one of the crazier ones.
Ooh.
But like, whatever. It's all good. And sometimes you don't know if it's actually Drake or if it's people that are in his band that are asking for these things.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is when you are playing at a university or something like that, what is all of the items on the rider are normally fulfilled. So artists will go crazy with their writers when they're playing a university because private shows like that, they're just handled differently. When you play a show, so like say you're playing the House of Blues, you're getting a ticket split, the doors, like
Right.
it's a whole different money deal. When you're going to a university, you're getting a flat fee. So, like you might get paid 5x what you're normally paid at a club show, and then you go to university and you're paid way more money.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
does that
Interesting.
kind of make sense?
Yeah.
And
Is
so
that what is it more than just universities? Is it any private event? Like if there's like corporate events that hire artists to come play or something like that?
all of the above.
Just
Universities
any
are
kind of flat fee?
Yeah, universities are notorious. Any one-off show will be really expensive.
Yeah.
And it's normally like a flat fee guaranteed, whereas if it's a tour, it's part of a much larger thing like ticket sales. You have a guarantee, and then if you once you hit a certain money point, then it's a ticket split with the promoter for that
Right.
show. I
Right.
hope I'm not making this too confusing. Anyways, so the point that I'm trying to make though is with a writer, I've totally digressed away from the fact that Seosin is very likely playing Warped Tour, but they were talking about their writer, and I thought it was so funny because they were talking about like they used to ask for Red Bull and vodka, and now they're asking for like prosciutto and cheese and coffee,
Love
which
that.
just says so much about our age,
Yes.
you know, and
And that's something that Warped Tour posted was
yes.
that video of Seosin talking about it?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But what I think is what it's so funny to me is that it brought me back to the days of being a concert promoter at our university. And then later learning that not everything is honored on a writer or things have to be paid for. So like at a university, somebody could ask for like a 20-pack of American Apparel t-shirts and they'd get it, and it didn't matter how much it costs because the university was just going to cover it. Whereas if you were playing at a venue and you asked for that to be on your rider and delivered to you, at the end of the day, the artist is actually paying for that most of the time.
Right. It comes out of their pay.
Exactly. It
Basically.
comes out of the settlement of the show.
Yeah.
And not every time, but most of the time. And so I thought it was so funny because, if you're asking for prosciutto and cheese, they're fancy.
I mean, it's not the fanciest.
No, not the fanciest. But going from Red Bull vodka to prosciutto and cheese, I'm like, good on you.
Yeah, that's great.
So
Love a cured meat.
who doesn't? Especially this time of year.
Yeah.
I've eaten more cured meat
Right.
in the last, I don't know, 3 weeks
Yeah.
than I probably have all year because it's just charcuterie boards left and right.
Charcuterie season, man.
Charcuterie. Okay, well that's probably enough for me because I totally went off on a tangent.
Well, did you have
Sorry.
other Warped Tour spoilers, or was that it?
Nah, I mean, not necessarily. There's just a lot of stuff that they're posting, and I think you and I are just living under the same understanding that every single thing that they're posting, I think
Is a
more than
clue.
likely is a direct correlation to who's playing. Like
Yes.
Noel Sucks, definitely. Melrose Avenue, definitely. All the ones that you said, not quite as maybe not quite as like it's not a video, it was a poll, right?
Yeah.
So it's like not as obvious, but all of those bands that you named, I would be so surprised if they didn't play one date.
Well, and I didn't say those were. That was there were only 5 questions. Like I named
Oh.
off
Every
all
single
of them.
one.
Yeah. So it was like name these songs, and then it was 5 songs, and that was it.
Oh.
So to me, it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it.
gonna be there. It wasn't like 20 songs or whatever.
Yeah.
It was those 5.
I also love they've been doing all these other things on here, like their bingo or talking about memories of like, did you fall in love or what happened for you at Warped Tour? I'm like all of these things happened for me. But I also spent like a lot of time at Warped Tour, more than the average human.
You still need to call in and do a Warped Tour confession.
Oh my God, you're so right. I don't even know what I would say.
You got to think about it.
Yeah, that's true. So what else? There's quite a few things going on in emo land these days. And I know that you've got quite a few things to talk about.
There is. I mean, just little tidbits, but let's talk about the Used. Announced a 25th year anniversary tour. So they announced several cities that they're going to. They're going to be in each city for 3 nights and play one album per night.
Back to back.
Back to back. So 3 nights in a row. They're first playing their self-titled album, The Used. The next night they're playing In Love and Death. And then the next night they're playing Lies for the Liars. And actually, no, since they announced it, a couple have been sold out and they added some dates in some places. So they're going to be playing the same album like multiple nights in certain places.
Wow.
Yeah. But they're going to be in Detroit, Boston, Sayreville, New York, Chicago, Denver, Salt Lake, Los Angeles, San Diego.
Wow, and they're doing the 3 nights in all of those places.
Yeah.
So they're playing like clubs essentially, probably like 2 to 3,000 seat rooms.
Sayreville, the Starland Ballroom.
Yeah. Thank you.
Denver at the Ogden Theater,
Okay.
Salt Lake at the Union, San Diego at the House of Blues, New York at Irving Plaza,
Yeah.
Boston at House of Blues, Detroit at the Fillmore. So, yeah, dates through April and May. I am a fan of the Used. They're going to be in Salt Lake and Denver, which is close to us.
I know. I was just going to say.
I don't think I've ever seen the Used, so that could be a fun thing to go to.
I would go to that with you. I don't love the Used, I think, as much as you do, but I've seen them quite a few times, but I think that'd be really fun for us to go.
Yeah, and Salt Lake's easy for us to get to, especially we could fly there.
Yeah.
In 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah, so true.
It's a quick flight.
But nothing like just hopping in the car and heading down 84 and just rolling into an arena as the band's going on.
We have done that too. So we could do that as well. It's
Yeah,
not
we
too
went
long
and
of a
saw
drive.
we went and saw Blink-182. When was that? July?
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
It was July. I will also say the Used did a similar tour 10 years ago with only 2 of their albums.
Oh.
But they did, they went to several cities 10 years ago and they did 2 albums back to back, which just generally speaking, I don't feel like playing the entire album from front to back was much of a thing until recently.
Yeah. I
And
remember when Jimmy World did it. They did it that was epic. And that was in college, but that wasn't a super I think that was maybe the first time I had ever heard of something like that.
Yeah, and I feel like now it's happening all the time.
Yeah.
But I they used it 10 years ago too. So with 2 of their albums, now they're doing 3 nights in a row.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Well, good for them. I mean, if they're selling between like 2,000 and 4,000 tickets a night and it's selling out and they're adding more dates, that just shows you the demand is there.
The demand is there.
The elder emos are ready.
We're ready. We have money.
We're ready to spend it.
And I feel like that's a good little transition to Under Oath. Because
We
both love Under Oath. So they've spent a lot of 2024 going on their 20th anniversary tour, celebrating the 20th anniversary of their Only Chasing Safety. So that's crazy.
Yeah. These markers of like 20 years, 25 years, whatever, it's bonkers. It makes my brain break a little bit because how has 20 years gone by? But also, like, so much life has been lived in the last 20 years, but it feels like 5 years ago and it feels like 50 years ago.
I agree.
It's wild.
Yes.
I mean, you created a human since then, but yeah.
Yep. I have a daughter. And that kind of sounded like Frankenstein-y for a minute. I don't know why my brain went there. But yeah, so Under Oath has been on tour this year celebrating their Only Chasing Safety. And a couple weeks ago, December 14th to be exact, at their show in Florida, they had a very, very special moment. And
That's right.
the original singer of the band, who was with them on their first 3 albums, Dallas Taylor, joined the band for the performance of When the Sun Sleeps. And I watched the performance. I don't know if you have.
No, I haven't.
But I shared it to our Instagram story too. And I think I added it as a highlight. So you can go on there and watch it. But it was so good. I mean, Under Oath is all-time favorite for me. And Dallas Taylor, I should also say, was one of the founding members of Under Oath, but then he's been the lead of Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. And he, I think, is from Florida originally. And so he performed with them in Florida. He also got into like a life-threatening four-wheeler accident in 2016 that like he was lucky to be alive. So I found this article on loudwire.com where it's reporting about the accident, and what Taylor said was that he broke every bone in his face.
Oh my gosh.
Cracked his skull.
What?
Broke his arms. Incurred significant eye and jaw damage. Ripped his ear canal and had bleeding in his lungs and in the brain.
Oh my gosh.
Additionally, he suffered a stroke.
No.
From the trauma of the incident.
And he had the ability to get on stage and sing with I mean, I know it's been 8 years since this incident, but oh my gosh. One, how lucky is he? And two, what a miracle that he is still performing and like living the life that he lived prior.
Right. I mean, yeah, it sounds like such a long recovery. I mean, we don't know the half of it. I think he started performing again a couple years ago.
Wow.
But basically it sounds like this four-wheeler fell on his head. Like,
yeah, four-wheelers are scary. Like, be careful, you know? I've heard so many incidents on four-wheelers.
Yes, but like just that description I gave.
It's a lot.
How did it not just like impale him and die?
Yeah.
So knowing that and just knowing that he was an original member and he survived this thing and joined him on stage and the performance was so good. So I did share it on our Instagram at the Emo Hour. It's on one of our highlights. I think it's actually the only one in that highlight right now.
Oh, we should put it on TikTok too.
We should. And it's also on this article from revolvermag.com. So highly recommend going to check it out. And knowing all that, it just feels like special. It's kind of like hit you in the feels.
Yeah, I bet people were crying.
Oh, totally. Like if you were there in person.
Yeah, and you know the story.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the band members were crying.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
Yeah. I have a weird story about Under Oath.
Okay.
And I can't remember who the guy is, but I'll never forget this. I was at Bamboozle, probably like 2006 or 2007 or who knows? You know how me and my years, I get them all mixed up. Could have been 2008. Could have been 2009.
That was a while ago.
Yeah,
so.
It was a while ago. But could have been 2010 for all we remember. But you get the idea. I was standing in the crowd. I think I was standing with Sophia, the girl who I co-created Bank Clothing with. We were watching somebody. I can't remember who it was. And this guy was just standing next to me, super tall, red hair, and just kind of like a built dude. And he looks over to me and says something witty or something about like the performance or whatever. And I say something back to him. And I looked at him and was like, I wonder why he knew that. And then he walked away, and I think Sophia or somebody else near us was like, that was the dude from Under Oath. And I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I think of Under Oath, it takes me back to standing in a parking lot watching a show, because Bamboozle was this big, like, imagine Coachella for emos. Like, that's what it was.
Right.
It was at the Meadowlands complex in New Jersey. And we always would set up a tent there and sell our merchandise because it made sense. And I like always have this memory of every time I hear Under Oath, it's like I'm looking at this redheaded dude who's like 6'2" and built. Maybe he wasn't 6'2", but it felt like he was. And having this interaction that was just like so innocent, and then later finding out that it was the dude from Under Oath.
Oh, that's funny. I feel like he's pretty.
There's two redheads. I'm going to show you a picture because it's.
Who? Well, I'm thinking of Aaron, who I am going to mispronounce the last name. Gillespie?
Yeah, Gillespie's probably right. It's this one, the dude in all black.
Okay.
Do you recognize him?
No.
I don't.
That's not who I was.
I feel bad
Yeah.
because I don't know what his name is, and I don't even know what he plays. I don't know.
Oh, well,
But that was my memory.
there you go.
That's my Under Oath memory.
That's a great memory. But highly recommend. Watch that performance. Like, it's so good and just so good.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
What else?
So the other thing is
Oh,
one of
yes, I know.
my favorite bands, which is like taboo to say, but the band Brand New, who
I don't think it's taboo, by the way. There's a lot of people who really love this band. You kind of have to separate the two
yeah,
because there's so much stuff around it, but you can't take away the music that they created.
that's how I feel about it. I know some people don't feel that way. And I mean, let's just like throw it out there a little bit. The lead singer, Jesse Lacey, of Brand New, in 2017 was accused of sexual misconduct with underage girls. And he basically like admitted to wrongdoing, was never really like totally clear on everything, but he wrote a letter like admitting fault. And they were already planning on breaking up at the time. Like they were going to wrap it up anyway, but
Mhm.
they got like canceled basically before that could happen because those allegations came out. And I believe that you can still, like, that music was such a huge part of my life that, like, of course I don't condone his behavior,
Right.
but like that music has made such a huge impact on my life. And I also think Brand New is more than Jesse Lacey.
Right.
Like,
That's
there's,
what I was going to say. There's many other members of that band,
yes.
right? One person's actions does not like you are not the same as another human.
Yes. So the brand new news is that they've been silent since late 2017, 7 years. And they reunited for a secret show in Nashville, I think December 14th. So there's a lot of buzz around it. I would say what's confirmed is that it was like a friends and family show, and people weren't supposed to take photos or videos. And
Yeah.
people
The
did.
modern day.
And,
It's so hard. You have to take people, like literally take things from people.
yeah. There's been like a set list that's been posted, which seems like there were new songs that were performed potentially.
Ooh.
But
I didn't look
then
this closely.
I've also seen that from people that were allegedly there, that they weren't necessarily new songs. They were like unreleased older songs, not new music. Who knows? There's a lot of buzz about like, does this mean that they're doing a comeback? Does this mean that they're going to release an album? Like, it's been 7 years. Then there's the conversation can turn into there's several other artists who have done bad things, who have continued a successful music career.
Oh, we know a lot of them.
A lot of them, and we don't really need to get into that right
No.
now. But that it can turn into that conversation. So the reality to me, what based on what I've seen, is his wife, who's actually like a celebrity stylist. She does a lot of styling for Zach Bryan,
Oh,
the country
interesting.
music singer,
Okay.
and other artists too, like Casey Musgraves and other artists. But like those are kind of her two big clients.
Jesse's wife.
Yes, Jesse's wife, Andrea, I think is her name. So Andrea's son, Miles, passed away a couple years ago. I think he was like a teenager. And it wasn't Jesse's son, but it was Jesse's stepson.
Mhm.
She started a foundation, and so
In his honor.
yes. And it seems to me, and it seems to a lot of people, like this was a fundraising event
Oh.
for that,
Okay.
and maybe nothing more.
Oh, interesting.
And there was some kind of rumors that something similar happened a couple years ago. I didn't really look into that. Like Brand New did a secret show a couple years ago. I don't really know. I just know I've seen that. But it seems very, very possible that this was just a fundraising event, one off, maybe never going to happen again, or not anything
It was
bigger
for the
than
crowd
that.
for the crowd that was in front of him and maybe nothing more.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of like
Interesting.
hope, and especially because people are thinking that there was new music performed
Right.
that night. Like, does that mean an album is coming out?
The only thing that'll tell us is time.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
So let us know what you think, listeners. Like, send us a DM on Instagram and let us know if you were following this news and if you think that they're coming back. And I mean, I would love that personally because I love Brand New's music, but I don't know. I think it's very possible that it was just a fundraising event for their foundation that they started when their son passed away.
I'll be curious. Yeah, please do DM us because I think that I don't know. There's so much stuff that swirls around the internet that it's hard to decipher sometimes. Like, is it real?
Right.
Is it AI? Is it AI or is it real?
Oh my gosh. There's so much AI.
That's a whole other ballgame.
Do you ever like I get stupid stuff on my feeds on Facebook, particularly
Uh-huh.
of AI photos that are
Or
usually celebrities.
or like, oh my God, the Jared Leto AI,
Sent me that,
that
yeah.
one gets me every time. Or like when there's like a crazy water tunnel or like a huge fire in the middle of the ocean or something like that that's like very other earthly.
Yeah.
Or when you see a video of an avocado pit being cut.
Okay. You just threw a lot out there.
I know,
I was
right?
going to say something and then you're redirected.
No, but there's crazy AI out there that you really have to double check yourself because it's getting so good.
Well, and what I was going to say is that so many people are so much more gullible than I am because I will see these photos, AI photos on mostly, like I said, on Facebook. I don't really
Right.
see it on Instagram as often. And to me, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good, but definitely not real.
Totally.
But then I look at the comments because I'm curious.
Oh, no.
And so many people just like accept it as fact.
Yeah, that's also the lawyer in you, I think, that you always
Probably.
question,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite things about you. But yeah, I would say that I'm probably more gullible than you are, and you check me on it. Like, for instance, when I saw the video about there being more avocado on the inside of a pit of an avocado, I still can't believe that I fell for this, but I kind of did. I did and I didn't. I did because I was just
No,
curious.
you did.
I know. God.
You did.
I know. And you're like, no, Nani, no.
So let's back up. Nani saw this video on TikTok, I think, that it was like somebody cutting an avocado, and then there was lots of cut editing happening. I don't know if that's the right word for it.
Sure.
But the cut to them cutting into the pit of an avocado, and there's more avocado inside. And we were with some friends, and Nani was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys! Did you know that there's more avocado in the pit?" And I just said, "Nani, no."
I'm such a smart girl, but boy, was that a dumb moment for me.
When you're like, "No, look," and I was like, "Editing, Nani."
I know.
No, but not only that, you tested it
I had to.
multiple times.
No, once.
Really?
Only once.
Okay.
Yeah.
You tested it. You cut it open.
Yeah, because I had an avocado. I was like, why not?
But yeah, that's
Also, don't do that at home. Because guess what?
hard.
It's a hard pit, and don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, fair.
Because I could have hurt myself, and I didn't.
Good.
Thank
Well, I'm glad
goodness.
you didn't hurt yourself.
Yeah, one and done. You know, that's all I have to say. One and done. And I knew when I was cutting into it that it wasn't going to be there. Let's be real. But I just was like, I've got an avocado. I've got a pit. Let's open it up and see what the inside looks like for real. And guess what? It's just white.
Yeah.
There's nothing special.
It's just an avocado pit.
Yep, just a natural pit.
Just a good old pit.
Just a natural pit.
Yeah.
So yeah, what else, Katie? Anything else you want to talk about this week? Or should we get into our emo lyric of the day?
Those are kind of the highlights.
Love it. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's even
Yeah.
more, which we'll get to probably on one of the next episodes. But we didn't want to make this one too long.
Correct, because it is New Year's Day, and I'm sure some people are listening, but I'm sure there's a lot else going on in your world.
Yeah.
So we should. What's your emo lyric of the day? Would
No,
you
I
like
was
to go?
I was just thinking, like, dear future me, I hope you're not hungover on New Year's Day, but you probably will be.
And then dry January can begin.
And then dry January can begin. Oh my gosh, it's so real. So
Which I've never done before. I did sober October one time.
I did mindful January,
Okay.
which I
is-
think is pretty good.
Is that just sober?
It's like mindful in the sense of don't drink, like don't have a drink. Like, you know what I mean? Just it's more so like be very intentional about when you're drinking.
Okay. That makes more sense.
That's my thing. It's like
And
I
also-
don't need a glass of wine with dinner. I don't need that with that, right?
right.
It's just being very mindful. It's like, yeah, I should probably just drink a glass of water.
right. So like cutting it down
Yeah, big time.
and probably not binge drinking to excess.
No, because I already did that for the month of December.
There you go.
You know, for the whole year, really.
Just for the well, no. Okay. I wouldn't
No. I mean, like the last few weeks, I've done enough drinking for the entire year, is what I'm saying.
What that sounded like is you've been excessively drinking for the entire year of 2024.
No, I haven't, but I have been for the month of December. It's just been party after party. And you know what I have to say about that is that I'm so thankful to have so many opportunities and friends for these parties. But boy, oh boy, my liver hates me.
Yeah, time to take a little rest.
And being the elder part of that emo, it doesn't make it any easier.
Nope, that's true.
So there's that. Okay, so my emo lyric of the day is from Noelle Sucks because she was in that spoiler with Warped Tour, and because Banks put us onto her, and just generally really like her. She has a song called "Life Is Sweet," and the E's are the number 33 backwards, so it's 33. I'm kind of curious what that 33 is for. I didn't actually look into
Yeah.
that. Do you have a hypothesis by chance?
No, I saw that, but I didn't think into it at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at it like Skater Boys with an 8.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
is there meaning behind that? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Infinity?
No.
I'm like the number 8
She's
makes
also
me
like
think of
16
I know,
or
right?
17.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Avril Lavigne.
Oh my
if you
God,
didn't know.
speaking of Avril Lavigne, we didn't talk about this and we could, but her song Complicated just hit 1 billion streams,
Yes.
which is so cool.
That's wild.
B with a B,
Yeah.
billion.
Billion. That is
So
wild.
officially that song is in the billion club. Okay, so the lyric from Noelle Sucks, and it's from her song Life is Sweet, again with the 33 in there backwards. It's actually
Wait, you have thoughts about what 33 might mean?
I don't know. Like, is she 33? I don't think so. I think she's younger than 33. And also 3, like I think of 143, which is I love you. So 143, 3 meaning you, like life is sweet. With 33 would be you. I don't know, like you're sweet.
All right.
I can make a lot of connections that probably have no real validity to it.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think those were a stretch.
Yeah. Totally, that's what I'm saying. I'm just spitballing over here. Okay,
That's great.
let me read my lyric.
Okay.
Okay, so it's from Life is Sweet, and it's actually the outro of the song,
Okay.
and it's mostly because it's just kind of a hilarious line to me. But it says, "Don't feel sorry. We'll keep talking. It's not you. It's just me." And I realized that it's actually not that great of like a emo lyric, but I love it when somebody says, "It's not you. It's just me."
Yeah.
Like it's not you. It's me.
No, I like that.
And I like that she ended her song that way.
Yeah.
So
Can you read it again?
it says, "Don't feel sorry. We'll keep talking. It's not you. It's just me."
I mean, I feel like that's really positive and like self-aware.
Yeah. Can I read you another part of it?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. So a lot of the song, she goes, life is too sweet. I'm freaking out. And something about like a cavity in my mouth. But anyway, so right before this outro, she says, "You can have what's left of me, a montage in a movie scene, little clips of stupid things. You'll watch it when I'm gone."
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably should have read that one instead.
I'm whatever.
But I kind of love it because she's modern day emo. And I think that they're like the older emo stuff is so emo and it's so like angsty that we don't necessarily always get that anymore in newer songs.
Yes, I agree with that. No, I love that. And I love that Banks introduced us to Noelle Sucks, and now Noelle Sucks is almost definitely going to be on Warped Tour.
I know, it's so cool. What about you? What's your emo lyric of the day?
So, since it's New Year's Day,
Oh boy.
I didn't even know this song before.
Wait, can I take a guess?
Sure.
Is it like, well, no, you would have known a Blink-182 song.
It's not Blink-182.
Okay, I'm going to not guess then.
It's by Motion City Soundtrack
I love that band.
called Together We'll Ring in the New Year. And I listened to it a couple times today. Frankly, I think there's a lot of good one-liners in here. And one-liners is what I typically would do. But lately I've been leaning towards a little bit longer lyrics.
God, I
So
hope
it
that's
is a
not
little
my
bit-
fault.
I think longer is okay sometimes.
Just know when I do it.
I think it depends. This one's no, it's not very long. It's not very long at all. Okay, I'm gonna go.
I've put my belt on. I'm ready.
Your belt?
Like I'm buckled up.
Okay. I don't. Okay, great. The lyric is, Oh, why did I come here? These humans all suck. I'd rather be home feeling violent and lonely.
God, Katie, every time you win, I hate you so much, but I also love you so much. But like, please read that one more time.
Well, and I picture this being about a New Year's party. The song is Together We'll Ring in the New Year.
Yeah.
So the lyric is, oh, why did I come here? These humans all suck. I'd rather be home feeling violent and lonely. Which is it's dark.
It's dark.
That's a dark lyric.
It's like, it's so angsty, but it's also so true. Think about how many New Year's parties you've been to that have just been a total bust.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Yeah.
Like, I know in these rom-coms that exist out there, they're like, they fall in love and kiss at midnight and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Like, no. You're more likely feeling violent and lonely.
And I feel like Motion City Soundtrack actually has a lot of dark lyrics, but if you know their music, it's very like upbeat and poppy.
Exactly.
They have that song, Let's Get Fucked Up and Die.
Oh, really? Well, in the future for that, what is it? Future Freaks Me Out or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love Motion City Soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, Katie.
Wait, let me say the one liner that I almost did as my lyric of the day is, well, it could be one line, it could be two. I'm going to read two. How I wish I could disappear. I'm trying to find out if my words have any meaning.
Ooh.
I feel like those are good one-liners.
Yeah, they are.
But I'm trying to find out if my words have any meaning is what I thought about saying, but I didn't.
I mean, both of those are really good, and both of those would have won you Emo Lyric of the Day. But of course you won. Yet again.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Because your emo lyrics of the day are a gift to me every time. I read mine and I'm immediately always like, it could have been better. But I really wanted to choose Noel Sucks, and I'm mostly familiar with that song. So I didn't want to just find one random song of hers. Like, I want the listeners, if you're interested, like, please go listen to that song because she's really good and new and cool.
And listen to this Motion City Soundtrack song. Together We'll Ring in the New Year, because it's only like 2 minutes long. It's very, very short. But I don't think I'd ever heard it before, or at least not enough times to like commit it to memory. But it's good.
You know, you just referenced a song. What is that?
I feel like that's a Census Fail song.
Yeah, commit this to your memory or something like that.
I think it's Census Fail.
Look at you being all punny. Is that that's punny?
I'm surprised you
Picked
caught
up on it?
that. Yeah.
What are you saying?
Oh my God, Commit This to Memory is a studio album by Motion City.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I don't think that's it. I feel like that's the Motion City Soundtrack.
And that's what this song is on that album.
Oh.
So I had read that.
Yep.
But yep.
Yep.
I didn't even realize that would have been a pun. Well, it was a pun. It just was an unintentional pun, I guess.
I'm really proud of you.
Commit This to Memory. Yep. The album released in 2005 on Motion City Soundtrack, and this song is on it.
Yep.
Together We'll Ring in the New Year.
So it turns out you're a super fan.
Super fan.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, anything else to chat about, or should we just close it out?
No, just, dear future self, let's just hope you're not hungover today.
Yeah.
And to anybody else who might be listening on New Year's Day, and maybe you're a little hungover, or maybe you're feeling a little violent and lonely after New Year's, it's all normal, I think, right?
All normal.
It's all normal.
The closing lines to this song are, "This must be it. Welcome to the new year."
Let's leave on that.
All right. Happy New Year,
Happy
everybody.
New Year.
Be easy on yourself. And follow us on Instagram at the Emo Hour and TikTok. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.